Welcome, dog lovers. My name is Krista Karpowicz, and you might know me as the host of the Wag Out Loud podcast, which we have releasing weekly, where we are obsessed with canine health, nutrition, and overall well being. So, if you're not familiar with that, we invite you to listen to the free podcast episodes. I am so thrilled that you guys are here. We are being watched simultaneously on 3 different platforms. So, for those in the Wag Out Loud Facebook Unleashed community, before leaving a comment, I just wanted to ask if you could give StreamYard, which is the platform we're using, give them permission to access your name and picture. So in the post itself, you'll see the link, StreamYard.com, Facebook. Click on that, and that's how we can see who's posting. You only have to do this once, and all future comments and reactions will show your name and picture. And this is very important, especially for this show, because we need to identify our community members for the exclusive giveaway. So we would like to find out who's here and where you're from. So let us know in the comments section and say hello. And while you're doing that, I'm going to just briefly tell you how this show works. So as I said, it's simulcast on several different platforms. And if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to click on the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We're going to introduce today's products and our guests that are here to talk about these amazing products. We are going to do a live demo with 2 dogs, and then we're going to take your questions. So type them in the comments section as they come up. And then the LTO, which stands for limited time offer, is going to be available for 24 hours only, and then it's gone. So you need to take advantage of the LTO 24 hours once this show ends until tomorrow at the same time. So before we introduce our special guests, I wanted to give you a sneak peek of the company and the products that we're going to be showcasing today.
Steve's has been successfully feeding dogs and cats since 1998. It was the first commercially prepared raw pet food on the market. That longevity proves that pet parents have seen great results in the overall health of our 4-legged kids. Steve's Real Food has some unique features throughout its entire line of products. The ingredients are purpose-driven. Each one matters. At Steve's, we believe great health begins in the gut, so goat milk is added to the entire line as a nutrient-dense source of beneficial bacteria. We offer a small nugget size that thaws quickly and is measured by the scoop, not the each, which means less handling to serve. Our sourcing will stand up to any other raw brand on the market. We never use an ingredient broker. We choose our sources. We go beyond free-range meats and use grass-fed, grass-finished for optimal nutrition. To learn more about the great products that Steve's Real Food offers, please visit stevesrealfood.com.
Okay, so that gave you a little taste of what's to come. Now we're going to get started, and we are going to have Joel, who is the National Sales Manager, and Mem is the Customer Service Manager of Steve's Real Food. So Joel and Mem, could you please introduce yourselves and share with us your fantastic products?
All right, so my name is Joel, and you heard my voice on the video. Hopefully it comes out as clear tonight. And one of the reasons I'm excited to be here is, first of all, just the fact that Wag Out Loud exists. And I think that that's a huge, tell for the times that we live in right now. More than any other time in our history, dogs and cats are coming into the home as family members. It's absolutely a great time. People are embracing them as children. Most likely they're going to show up on pictures, holiday cards. And that's how we are in our family. You know, we consider them 4-legged kids. My house is ruled by Queen Freya, our Blue Lynx Siamese. as well as Bimmy, our new Doberman we got about 6 months ago. And they're the identity of our family. And what's awesome is everybody here tonight watching this, we're all the same. We all feel that way and that deep connection. And I always feel like extended family members in my family that don't quite get that, I kind of feel like they're gypped. I mean, what a huge quality of life that they're missing out on. But even though we can't see everybody tonight, we're all the same. And so I think that makes it special.
I love it. Mem, who are you and what do you do?
Hey, so my name is Mem. I deal a lot with the customer service for the retailers and our customers. I answer a lot of questions, whether it's regarding the food, the nutrition, kind of everything in between. I am a dog mom of 5. This is the littlest, Harley, and the biggest is a 100-pound big goofball. So I've been with the company for about 5 years now, and I've been in the pet food industry for about 10 years now. So, yeah.
Great. Well, wonderful to have you both here. Thank you so much for everything that you do. What sets Steve's apart from other commercial raw brands? Who wants to take that?
So I can take that one. So here's the thing when it comes to commercially raw brands. I should say this. Here's the thing with kibble. There's a wide range between the top kibble brands and the bottom kibble brands. There's a huge variance in cost and quality. When it comes to raw brands, we're very tight in the sense that we're all aiming to be that top rung of the ladder. We all aspire to be the healthiest choice for our dogs and cats. So there's not a massive gap. And so it's very difficult to say, why is Steve's best? Well, I know that Steve's is best for me. I know that Steve's is best for Mem because we believe strongly in the environment. And we really take care from biodegradable and recyclable packaging, vegetable inks on the packaging, things like that matter to us. So that's why it's best for us. We also believe strongly in sourcing and making sure that the products, the farms are ethically treating their animals. So you saw some goat farm video on that video there. I actually visited the goat farm myself. In fact, I believe everybody in our office has visited the goat farm just south of Portland. We don't have to do that, but we do that because it matters to us. So I believe that when it comes to a raw brand, you tend to match what like belief system each brand has to your own character. And other things that set us aside from a nutrition standpoint would be the inclusion of goat milk in our entire line. We absolutely want good gut health. And goat milk is loaded with probiotics, beneficial bacteria. In fact, you could call goat milk nature's universal donor, meaning if mom can't produce milk, a lot of species can go on goat milk and do very well. So it's readily received by the body. And gut health is the key to everything. If we can get a good, healthy gut for our dogs and cats, all the other ailments are much more manageable. And right now with yeast overgrowth so common, that's what we want. So that addition of goat milk is our driving ingredient force that would be a separator. We're also known as a value brand. We don't have a large team. We run very lean. And because of that, we keep our costs down. It's something that our owner, Nicole, really wanted to do, is to line up ingredient-wise as the top brand, but try to go for a value, because we know that feeding raw at first glance, it can look a little expensive. Now, I live in the Midwest. It's big dog country here. You know, everybody has 2, 3 large dogs. So, you know, it's not always economical. So we want to be positioned as a good as well. That's probably the biggest, you know, identifiers for our brand would be those things for sure. We use hydroelectric power at the plant where our product is produced because it's good for the environment. We're part of a green coalition, and all those things matter to us and make it best for Joel, make it best for Mem and all of our team members. And hopefully that matters to a lot of you as well.
Absolutely. So you talked about sourcing your ingredients. You have a handle, you know exactly where everything comes from, that it is ethically raised meat sources, your vegetables that you include in your food. Can you briefly talk about what is HPP? Because I think you guys are the leaders in that technology in this market.
So HPP, the letters stand for high pressure pasteurization. It's very common in the people world. Our orange juice, deli meats, cheeses go through this process. It's meant to keep the bacterial load down so you can ship it across the country, shelf stable, you can eat it, and doesn't produce illness. We are doing that to raw foods. A lot of the main raw brands are now adding a high pressure pasteurization process. We actually consider ours, we call it low pressure technology. We do that because we believe strongly in raw food being fully loaded, meaning we want it to be live. We don't want the pressure to be too high to start destroying good bacteria. We don't want live enzymes to start to get denatured and fade away. So by doing it at a low pressure and low temperatures, we have a lot of testing on it that proves that ours is still a whole living food. And that's really the goal of the raw foods, is whole living food. And what we're doing for our dogs and cats, and we know this from just history, going into stores, seeing kibble stacked high, that's our normal out there. And by seeing that, it is possible dogs and cats have gone their entire life without anything uncooked. And living food means uncooked. The second we add heat, we start to lose vital nutrition. Amino acids start to get denatured. The longer the heat, the higher the heat. So, and the same is true for the pasteurization. We want to do the least amount of people interference when it comes to it. So we do it to keep the listeria, the salmonella, the E. coli down. There's a zero tolerance allowed in the pet industry, has to test zero. And because of that, we have to do some steps in there. But we found that sweet spot between temperature and pressure that allows us to keep it live. And that's really what we're trying to do. And when we educate people on feeding raw, it's not all or nothing. It's not, oh, why are you feeding kibble? You need to feed raw. I feed all raw because I've kind of graduated into that world. But I didn't start out that way. When I first saw it, I'm like, what is this hippie voodoo food? I'm never going to do that. And here I am talking about it. So amazing how we change. But sometimes it takes that step. For me, it was a Doberman that developed cancer. And that's the one that got me obsessing over nature. I didn't want to lose my four-legged soulmate, at a young age. And that got me over the hump. For others, it's just different beliefs that get them there. And so right now we teach people, hey, if you're going to have a base kibble, what if we did about 30% whole living food? What can we do? And one of the great things here and now is we're keeping so many dogs. We're bringing so many in from rescues, but they come with a lot of damage, not just to their spirit, but to their bodies. Maybe mom was pregnant, got a bunch of shots. Now we have immune suppressed puppies that are going out and being adopted. A lot of dogs need an extra boost. We would love it if they could just eat kibble. It's so easy, so convenient, but we got to give whole living food. We really want them to thrive. And so that's what we're trying to do. And by adding more and more of that, keeping it fully loaded, beneficial bacteria, live enzymes, that's the name of the game. I don't think we can ever talk about raw food without mentioning intracellular moisture. To me, this is the single biggest thing we can do for cats. So more than any other domestic creature that we brought into our houses, we've done the most damage to house cats actually by how we feed, by feeding kibble. So cats naturally eat their moisture. So I have a glass of water right here. I'm trying to get you a good clean voice, for this webinar, and I'm hydrating. The problem is when I finish this glass of water, I'm going to lose 30% of it just in my body's ability to receive it. But when you bite into an apple, you get every cell of moisture. That's called intracellular moisture. You're hydrating at a molecular level. So when a cat eats a mouse, there's about 68% moisture in there. They're hydrating at molecular level. So here's your cool power fact, all right? Because I get this. People tell me my cat drinks all the time, but I'm ready for you. So a cat's tongue goes straight down and straight up. It takes 2,200 licks to equal 1/4 cup of water. When a cat drinks and they start dipping their tongue, they actually tap the top of the water for about 15 licks before they even start to bring in any water. So it takes a long time. So every time they do that and then restart and come back to the water dish, they have 15 licks without water. And then by dipping their tongue straight down and straight up, it's super ineffective. They're never going to drink enough to hydrate. We have to add intracellular moisture. Raw
and it's
food,
true for dogs as well.
Absolutely. So dogs
So
at
many-
least can lap with their tongue and get some meaningful amounts of water, but for cats, it's absolutely critical. So diabetes, crystals, IBD, organ function, directly related to dehydration. So that's my big cat push because I'm happen to love cats, so we
But we're
gotta
talking about
make sure we
dogs.
include them.
We're talking about dogs here, Joel.
I know.
What are the biggest benefits that you hear from your customers who feed your products? And by the way, in all the invitation and promo material, Steve's Real Food is the first company that sold and produced commercial raw food.
Yep.
And what year did that start?
1998.
So they've been around quite a while. So what are the benefits that your customers tell you? What do they see differences in their dogs after feeding this?
So kind of, if you were to pick like a chronological order, early on might be brighter teeth start to come into play. A coat that, is less shedding, comes along pretty early. If there is yeast overgrowth, maybe a Bashan, Lhasa Apso, or Shih Tzu, or Goldens, they're magnets for yeasty ears. That starts to go away pretty early, and then doesn't come back. Eventually, muscle mass starts to come in. So if you have a senior dog or a working dog and they have trouble putting on that lean muscle mass, and a lot of people say, well, I keep feeding them, but they just kind of start losing weight. Going on raw can change that. And so the raw diet typically, is going to find that perfect weight of the dog. And if you have a Yorkie, you might think, wow, I have this cute, dainty dog. When you start feeding raw, you're going to be very impressed with shoulder muscles. Remember, that's a digging, burrowing dog that likes to hunt through the woods and things like that. And they get strong shoulder muscles. So that muscle tone starts to come in. Temperament actually can change. If I were on here right now and I had a sinus infection, I might not be smiling as much as I am. And we do better and behave better when we feel good. The same absolutely applies to our dogs and cats. So when they start to eat and feel their best, they do the best. Especially with all those rescue dogs out there now, we want to give them the best shot of success. So having them feel their best gives them that. And so that's one of those things that I think people are surprised at. It doesn't, take energy away. It balances it, like in athletes. When they're not in their activity, they're more relaxed. But when they're in their activity, they're at their best. And that's what we look for. The list is really long, Chris. So you kind of asked a question that we could take up a lot of time with what you notice with health benefits of raw. And it goes to something that I think is common out there. As people, we think machine and ailment. That's kind of how our brain works. So if you get a flat tire in the car, well, I put air in. The gas tank, you put gas in. Make the radio work, we need a battery. When it comes to healthy eating, it's all interconnected. And it's so weird when you say, well, will raw help the smell of my dog's, ears? Yeah. Will help the teeth? Yes. Well, and all of a sudden it's so inclusive. It's almost like, well, that's a little unbelievable because we think laser in on that one thing. I need this for joint. I need this for ears. I need this for teeth. Doesn't work that way. When you feed the best, it's all connected. And when you have a healthy gut, it's so many ailments start to become more manageable or go away. And right now, I'm sure we have a whole lot of listeners that their dog is scratching a lot. Mm-hmm. It is so common right now. And my dog seems to be allergic to everything. We got to give them that extra boost. Whole living food can do that.
And all of your formulas, the diets are complete, they're balanced. Mm-hmm. to AAFCO guidelines? And how do you make your food affordable? Because people think a lot of time, oh, commercial raw, it's got to be super expensive. I can't afford that.
There's no way around the fact that there is an increased expense from kibble into the raw food market. There just is. And, there's no way around that. But I kind of look at it this way. If you currently feed a 40-pound dog a really good quality dry kibble, and you went and took that dog onto all raw, and you went on to Steve's, you're probably going to add the expense of a large vanilla latte from Starbucks a month. That's actually the difference. So it's about $9 a month to go from a high-end kibble into raw. We're probably spending it somewhere in our life. So if you look at it that way, it becomes a little easier. And so just kind of think of other things you're doing that might match that increase in expense and say, all right, maybe it's time to get the Keurig and we'll start doing that at home. Or there's ways to make it work. There's no way around that cost, but we run lean, small, tight group. We intentionally created a margin as our company to make it really affordable, because it used to be the number one obstacle for going on raw is, what the heck is this? That creeps me out. I'm not doing that. Now it's actually cost. What a wonderful spot to be in, because that means people can be on a show like this and they're already out of the mass market to buy their food. They're in more specialty places that have an education-driven message and listening to your podcast with an education-driven message. So now if cost is the only obstacle, we're in a good spot, because now we can work with that. And the expense is probably somewhere in your lifestyle. For us, we got a Keurig and stopped going to Starbucks. And that was, kind of our addiction with my wife and I. We were coffee snobs for a long time. So we cut that out and we got really good at home preparing them. So now we prefer that. There's ways to do it.
And you can always stretch, we could talk about this all night. Even feeding raw, maybe as a topper added to a kibble. And people have to remember that when you do feed raw, you're feeding less, because it's a dense whole food. You would be feeding less. Okay, because time is running out, I wanted to find out more about that this can be shipped right to your door. I wanted to ask, since it's frozen, how is it packaged and how does it arrive?
Mem will take that one.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So how we ship everything is going to be in a cardboard box with a recyclable insulation surrounding all sides of the box. Food is put into there, and then we also use dry ice. Dry ice, we do have quite a good calculation depending on how many days it's going to be in transit. So we have a standard of 10 pounds of dry ice to start out with, and then each additional day is an extra 5 pounds of dry ice. So if you're having a shipment go 3 days, you have 25 pounds of dry ice. And with that, definitely keeps it pretty frozen, sometimes too frozen. Unless you're living where it's 120 degrees, then we just add more ice. So that's how it comes. It does come in these 5-pound bags.
Okay.
So it is really easy to either scoop from the bag, or what I do for my dogs is I will put them in a little container to store them in my fridge so it defrosts overnight. So that's how it's shipped and packed. And then we do have 5 flavors available, which is chicken, turkey, turducken, which is a chicken turkey duck mix. Then we also have a beef and a pork.
Lots of variety. Yeah. And you guys, you can ship everywhere in the U.S. except Hawaii and Alaska. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And free shipping on orders of 4 bags or more. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if you order 4 bags or more, then it is free shipping. And then also with, I forget what I was going to say. I'll think of it.
Okay. Well, while you're thinking, and people, please start putting through your questions in the comments section. Mem, why don't you do the live demo and tell us what you're going to be doing with that?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a few different things. So I obviously have my nuggets of food. I also have our chia freeze, which is our goat milk yogurt. This is going to be goat milk yogurt with chia seeds in it. So it's going to be really good for cleansing the body. If you ever have a dog that has an upset belly or diarrhea, I always add this on. I also just add it on if they're being good boys and I feel like being nice, extra nice. So we definitely, I mean, there's no wrong way to feed it. Some dogs prefer it frozen. I'll do it frozen some days in the summer when it's hot. And since they are in like little nuggets, I'll just like feed it as a treat.
Mm. Yum.
And then obviously there's your traditional bowl. What I also like to do is I like to stuff Kongs with it and like the little toys. So I'll defrost it, I'll stuff it in, and then I'll freeze it to have like an interactive.
Oh, that's a great idea.
A good way to just get their brain stimulated as long and with good food. And then I also use a slow bowl. I'll stuff it and then freeze this whole slow bowl if I want something really difficult for them to do.
Love it.
Yeah. So let's see, who wants to eat? So with the nuggets, these ones are partially thawed, so I'm just going to scoop it out and put it in my slow bowl. And then the goat milk yogurt. The goat milk yogurt can like vary in texture. It's normally a pretty like yogurty consistency. In the springtime, you will notice that it's a little bit thicker just because mama goats are having baby goats. So you actually have a little bit more colostrum in the yogurt in the springtime.
Oh,
So since we don't pasteurize it or anything, springtime goat milk is actually has more colostrum in it. So
thanks for that fun fact.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. Let's see, let's move my camera down.
Oh, Harley, you're going to go for it? Oh, yeah.
See, it's a little bit frozen, so it's taken him a little bit, but he does not care at all. And he is about 6 pounds. So these little nuggets are perfect for the little guys and the big guys. As you see, everybody's gathering around.
I want some too.
One really fits on the counter. Everybody else can't fit on the counter.
Well, obviously Harley is loving the Steves. Thank you for the demonstration. So let's get to the LTO. All right. Our LTO today is if you use the code LTO, standing for limited time offer, you're going to get 25%, and you need to go to rawpetfood.com and put in the code LTO again to get 25% off for Steve's. So that is don't go to steves.com. You need to go to rawpetfood.com. All right. Wanted to see if anybody has any questions. I don't see any questions yet. I see that people are on there, but nobody is asking any questions. So while people are thinking, again, we mentioned in the beginning a giveaway for our WAG Out Loud Unleashed community members only. And we're going to pick a random member of our community who posts a comment or a question. And if you're not a member, why not join? Because it's free and you get cool stuff like this. You get exclusive giveaways and offers and webinars. So just look us up on Wag Out Loud Unleashed community on Facebook. Ma'am, do you want to tell them what the winner will get for the getaway or the giveaway?
Yeah, so the winner will get 2 of these 5-pound bags, so 10 pounds of food.
Wow.
They'll also get 1 packet of the Chia Freeze yogurt. And then we also have recreational bones, so beef marrow bone. Those come in 3 different sizes, and we'll have them pick the size.
All right. Well, I don't see any questions, so I want to bring Joel back on one more time to ask, do you have anything that you would like to leave us with as far as Steve's and what you guys are doing?
Well, I think, the Chia Freeze, that the goat milk yogurt that Mem had held up is pretty special. If you were to make 4 main points that raw food has, or whole living food that you could add, it's the fact that it's a whole living food. The moisture is fully loaded in there. It's natural intracellular moisture, beneficial bacteria, and live enzymes. All 4 of those things are present in that goat milk yogurt, and it retails for about $15. So you can go a huge step to adding that without a heavy cost. So right there, it's this great thing. It's also excellent this time of year for the fact that it's a natural anti-diarrheal. It does settle the stomach. And I know maybe not as many people are traveling for the holidays, but those that are going to have family over, in my family, my dad will slip pancakes to my dog. So it's not a good match for Doberman. Their gas is legendary. We got to be careful. So as that happens, having it on hand is an excellent way to do it. You don't have to be regimented and measure it out exact. It's pour some on. I mean, really, that's the instructions, because it's so good and universally accepted. It's also great for seniors that maybe start to lose interest in eating. It's a great way to top things off and have some fun. But I love that product. I think if anybody wants to start with raw, you could do a lot worse than starting right there. It's easy to do. Large multi-dogs, the health benefits, the list is super long. So
that's great. Thank you.
And I think people are afraid to ask questions because they picked up I'm super long-winded. I could do 8 hours of this, and they're like, oh man, we got to listen to this guy answer my question.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank the people that are watching this, and from our previous 2 LTO shows, a lot of people watch replay after the fact. So I want to thank everybody who is tuning in and checking out Steve's Real Food. If you are not familiar with Wag Out Loud, the podcast, please go to wagoutloud.com and check out all of the episodes. Again, our amazing community, it's free, and other valuable resources that are going to enhance your dog's health and longevity. If you have a favorite product that you love, or maybe you're a manufacturer of those products, please get in touch with us by going to wagoutloud.com and clicking on the Bark About It button. We would love to hear from you. And I'm going to check one more time. I don't see any questions. That means you guys covered it really well.
Well,
so
thank you everyone too on behalf of Steve's, because I know there's so many other options out there and you chose to join us. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and until next time, have a tail wagging day.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.